just keep going on about their lives, and it really falls back on selfishness. But selfishness is the root of pretty much everything. And today we're talking about lying, and that's a pretty selfish thing to do. Not in the context of like I don't know. I think it's more so in the context of lying about things that you said that you were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I didn't say that, and you did say that. That's a lie.
Yeah.
But the bigger lie is, hey, I'm not going to do this thing anymore. And then you do it. And most men think that that's not really that big of a deal. She probably won't remember. And women have memories like elephants. They do. They do remember. And most of the time too, if you think you're getting away with something because they're not saying it, it's just that they're exhausted with your bullshit. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So that's why they're not saying anything. It's not like you got away with it, right? One of the best topics of this is, we won't call him by his name, but the guy that did our summit with us. And, for those that are listening, we're going to jump right into, if you haven't figured this out yet, we just jump right into it. We're going to talk about little white lies that men tell their wives, and they don't even realize the damage that's done. And it's lies that you decide to tell. Like, most of the time we come up with this shit. We're like, hey honey, I'm not going to buy a gun again this year. I've bought enough guns last year. I think we're good. I'm not going to buy another one this year. I'm going to save that money. And then 2 weeks later, you go buy a gun and she finds you. And most guys, what do? We go, she doesn't think that that's that big of a deal. Like, I know I said I wasn't going to, but it was a really good deal. And so I just bought it. What are your thoughts on that, bro? Like, how do you think women react to that? What's their feeling, and what's the emotional damage? Because we're just knuckle dragging idiots. Either that, or we're so consumed with lying that we just lie to ourselves and justify why it's okay to tell that kind of a lie. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, from the way that women look at it, because like you said, a guy is going to be like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. We're still paying all our bills. It has no negative impact on us financially. So that's how a guy will try and justify it, right?
100%.
But you don't understand that women subconsciously, and again, our podcast isn't for boss babes, so they're probably not listening to this. Their lives are in your hands. Like, she's the weaker vessel, not that she's less valuable, right? Weaker vessel. She's a crystal, we're cast iron. So when she's like, you are lying to me, how do I trust you? And how do I trust you throughout my life? How do I trust you with the big things if you can't even follow through with the little things? And it was the thing that he said he wasn't going to buy it. He made the decision, right? And man, every decision that goes on in your household, you made the decision. Whether she brought it up and you just acknowledged, or you didn't say anything, you're the one who made the decision. Saying nothing is still acknowledging it. So the fact that he said no, he can't keep his own word to himself. Big fail, number one. And two, how does she trust you with any big decisions if she can't trust you with a little one that you made?
Yeah, and I remember when I was lying about buying things to fill like a hole in my heart. And I would always think that. I would always think, well, she's not going to notice. Like, my wife doesn't even pay attention to that stuff. She's not going to notice if I buy another pair of Jordans, even though I said I wouldn't. And she does notice. So listen, guys, as you're driving around today and you're listening to this, or you're getting a workout in, you're listening to this, big myth number one is she does notice. Like, let's clear that up. She notices everything. And if she's not saying anything to you, that's the worst place to be, because what she's telling you by not calling you out on it is that it doesn't matter what I say, he's not going to change. She's giving up on you. It's not that she doesn't notice, she's given up on you. So while you think you're getting away with all this little backdoor shit, she's going, I see that, and I just don't even care anymore. I don't trust him. And what she's going to do is she's going to start making decisions behind the scenes. So what most men do is they fall in the trap of that. She's not going to notice. The wife notices, doesn't say anything because she's just given up on you. And then you try and make these grandiose decisions like, hey, I think we should sell our house and go after that other house. Well, how is your wife supposed to get on board with that when she can't trust you with not buying another weapon when you said you wouldn't, or not buying another pair of Jordans when you say you wouldn't? The damage is so catastrophic. And one of the things that my wife said to me that I would just get so flustered with and get so annoyed with is when she would say to me, when you lie to me, that's like you cheating on me. That's like me walking into our bedroom and seeing you with another woman in our bed. And I would think, what? That's not even close. That's insane. But what you just said about men being cast iron, women being crystals, that's why that affects them in that way. You absolutely crush your wife when you do that to her. So we've got to get off of this idea that they don't notice. That's a
Mhm.
myth. We're here to dispel that. They notice everything.
Yeah, they're far smarter than most men give them credit for. There's a
Oh,
reason
for
why
sure.
King Solomon wrote Proverbs 31, because when you got a good one, dude, she's intelligent.
Hmm.
Okay.
You're not getting anything by her.
Nope, not anything. I mean, I did all the same thing. I would buy so much hunting gear and be like, "Man, check out this like $2,500 bow," and she'd be like, "The fuck was wrong with your other one?" Well, I just wanted it. Yeah, you know what? I want things for our house, and I would be like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think about any of that." Right?
Hmm.
Didn't think about any of that because I was again selfish. The part that's hard for men to grasp, and it's a cultural thing, is the lying to ourselves. Right? I think last week we talked about some of the virtues of masculinity, one of them being honor, right? A man of your word. And there used to be a time in history in the medieval times, you would go from a page, a squire, a knight. Knights. When you were a knight, it was considered treason if you lied. Treason. What's treason, Adam? You were in the military. What's treason?
Yeah, treason is basically turning coat on who you are, what you support, what you're willing to die for. If you subvert that or you go behind the scenes to let somebody gain power over that, you are committing treason.
Uh-huh.
If I were in the military still and I had top secret security information and I handed that over to a foreign entity, that would be treason.
That would be,
If I say, honey, I'm not gonna buy any more shoes this year, and I did, that's treasonous.
dude,
That's what that means.
that is treason. Think about culturally how far we've gone removed from that. I mean, guys were held to their word, and yet guys can't even keep their word to themselves, which is a major, major problem. I'm gonna go to the
Now
gym
guys
tomorrow.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, guys is like, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow, honey, and you don't. And your kids and your wife, they notice that you can't even keep the simplest thing to yourself. And you may think it's not that big of a deal, but it adds up.
Yep. How many times have we heard that? I'm gonna start working out tomorrow, and then they don't, and then they wonder why their wives don't respect them. Like men, we have this thing with us where we want our wives to respect us, yet we don't even respect ourselves enough to not do the shit that we say we're not gonna do. Where's
Mhm.
the respect in that? You forget that first you have to respect yourself enough to not do the things that you say you're not gonna do and do the things you say you are gonna do. That's respecting yourself. Then you can begin to respect other people. And then you can maybe possibly have somebody respect you. But we're just so wrong in that, so backwards. And the other thing I was going to say is how far we've come or how far we've fallen culturally. Now, guys run in circles where men encourage men to lie to their wives. Just tell her we're going to Waffle House, even though we're going to the strip club. Just tell her it's the fantasy football is only $100, even though you're going to pay $1,000 for it.
Mhm.
Don't tell her that. Tell her that, no, we didn't go there. Men encourage men to lie to their wives. That's why we have problems because there's no standards.
Yeah, I've done that. I've literally told buddies, hey, if she reaches out to you, this is what we were doing. But I
Yes,
was a boy. I was a child.
right. And
Just
eventually you
in
have to
grown up
evolve and
body.
grow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the big deal is like men are going to get so butthurt about this, but like most men are children. I was a child for a long time. There's still moments when I look back on stuff that I did a week ago and I go, whoa, that was childish. Like to react that way, that's childish. And
Mhm.
until men start doing that, until we start holding each other accountable for that stuff, we're going to perpetuate the behavior. We're going to enable the behavior. And that's part of what you and I's job and mission is to get on here and start talking about it like it's a problem. Lying to your wife is a big problem, even about little things. That's what you should understand. Little lies and big lies carry the same weight to your wife because, like you said, Jesse, they're the most fragile of the two. Their lives hang on your ability to be a real man. So if you're lying about little shit like that, then what about the big stuff? How are you telling the truth about the big stuff?
Yeah, in my household, just last week, I told my wife I'd get something from her. So I went to the store at like 8:30. I did not want to go to the store at 8:30, but I went anyways because I remembered last minute, fuck, dude, tomorrow she's going to want this thing. And because of the way my schedule works, I'm going to have to go 8:30. That's when I want to try and get in bed. Okay. My sons, I have done things I did not want to do at all because I told them I would do it. And I
Mhm.
wanted to follow through. I was like, the last thing I want is be one of those parents who the kids are like, they don't believe a word you say and they don't verbalize it. They just internalize it. Yeah, my dad's a liar. I can't trust him. So I do all the things that I tell my kids, all the things.
And that subconsciously sits with them, right? When you're a liar and you tell your kids to not lie to you, that's doing damage to your children
Mm.
because they're trying to figure out, well, why does my dad lie about the littlest things? And then he tells me, just be honest with me. You can't, bro, you can't even be honest with yourself.
Mm.
That's the most insane thing in the world. That's what we're trying to communicate the most in these pods is that you got to be who you expect your kids to be, pure and simple. No one tells their kids, "Hey, listen, if you have to, lie about it. Like, if it's gonna get you out of trouble and protect you, just lie about it." Who teaches their kids that?
Yep. And a big thing that men do is they overcommit. So you're like, you don't think it's a big deal, but you committed to a hundred little things to do around the house. You said you would do all these little things and then you don't get to them. Why would you just overcommit? How about you just commit to like one thing at a time and work your way up and have a conversation with your wife, honey, I'm not going to be able to get to all those things, that honeydew list. How about I knock out this one and then I'll revisit? She is going to greatly appreciate that versus you just blowing it off because you don't have time. Enter any excuse.
Right. I agree. It's crazy. We, getting back to the dude that said he wasn't gonna buy any guns and does anyways, the lying it starts with lying to yourself and then it flows out of your mouth and you start lying to other people. So the justification starts with yourself. You go, well, she's not going to care. She's not going to know. She'll never find out. I have so many guns. Insert anything too for guns. It could be shoes, cars, watches, shirts, whatever your thing is. If you say, I'm not gonna, and then you do it to a woman, that is akin to cheating.
Mhm.
Hopefully you can get wrap your head around that, or hopefully you can understand that, guys. You're not getting anything by your wife, and you're actually causing way more damage than you think or realize. And I think, Jesse, I think the reason why we don't realize is because we just lie to ourselves and say it's not.
Mhm.
It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Not that big of a deal at all, man. My buddy understands. He wants another
Yeah.
gun too. We actually
Yeah.
went together.
We went together and did it.
Yeah.
Now let's try this on, Jesse. Let's try this. Your wife says to you, hey, make sure that the kids are down early tonight because I want to have sex. Like, however you want it, whatever you want to do, whatever your thing is, I'm in for it. I want you tonight. All day. What do you think you're doing? You got your ducks in a row, the
Mhm.
kids' asses are in bed, and then you open the door and she goes, America's Got Talents on, and I want to watch that instead. How do you feel about it?
But bro, I would be like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Right. You'd be
I would
you
be
would be
like, what the fuck?
you'd be screaming about how disrespectful that is.
Yeah. You fucking tricked me. I would
Yeah,
feel like so bamboozled, bro.
I would be like, I'm never gonna trust you again. I'll never
Mm.
believe you when you say that again. Yet here we are. Here we are. We're so dumb, dude. It's like it's really starting to amaze me. The more we coach guys, the
Hold
more it's
on.
starting
Hold
to
on.
amaze me.
I would probably go to bed fucking pissed. I'm
I
just
would
being
be
honest.
furious.
I'm just being honest.
I would say I'm not gonna fucking talk to her for a week after this.
Dude, I would be so pissed. I wouldn't want to have sex if after she was like, I'm ready now. It's like, no, like, are you kidding me? What you did? I'm already
I'd be like, I'm gonna
asleep.
teach you a lesson. I'm gonna teach you a
Yeah.
lesson. You're not ever gonna do that to me again. Right. And I know every guy listening to this, they would say the same thing. They'd be like, you bamboozled me, you liar. I can't trust you. So then stop, pause, pull over if you have to. Understand that that's how she feels, you idiot. That's how she feels. And our podcast isn't designed to just shit on dudes, right? So like there's those weak guys that are like, yeah, well, you should talk about what she does. It's like, shut
Ugh.
up for a second, bro. Just shut up. I'm not here to shit on you, okay? I'm not here to just point out how awful you are, but I'm kind of here to point out how awful you are. Because if somebody doesn't for you and it never lands for you, you're going to continue driving around thinking that she's got all the problems and you have none.
Mhm.
And that's patently absurd.
Yeah. That dude's never going to change. Those guys drive me nuts in the comments. It's like, bro.
She did it. She did it first. You know what that sounds like? I have a son and a daughter. I have a 9-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. And when I start hearing my son get like a little too rambunctious or a little too physical, and I walk through the door and I'm like, excuse me, did you just like top rope body slam your sister? And the first thing he does is, yeah, but I cut that head off that snake so fast. I'm like, I don't give a shit what it is that she did. Are you crazy? I'm more upset that my son started going, yeah, but than I am that he body slammed her off the top ropes. Boys are supposed to do that stuff.
Hmm.
They're going to do that, right? Chance and Shogun probably destroy each other all day. Like that's what boys do.
Oh yeah.
I'm not mad at that. I'm mad that your idea, son, was to blame her first. That's what my 9-year-old son does. And there's 45-year-old men that get in our comment section. They're like, yeah, but she was mean to me first. I'm like, bro, have you not evolved at all in 25 years, 30 years? And they haven't. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's why you and I exist. Sorry, man, to like hurt your feelings over this. Sorry, you maybe have a crazy wife. If you have a crazy wife, dude, you're probably a shitty leader.
The craziest my wife ever was when I sucked at life. And I thought I was tricked because my wife, year 1, year 2, year 3, was the sweetest, most like feminine little angel of a woman. I was like, dude, I took advantage of her niceness, the whole bit, things that we're not supposed to do. And then we had a kid and I wasn't doing my job and she was batshit. I would tell her, you fucking tricked me. You were never like this when I met you. And she would be like, how do you think I got this way? I don't know. You tricked me because I was not taking responsibility for it. I thought she fucking tricked me, dude. I would literally tell people, bro, she's so crazy. She tricked me. That whole thing was a play all those years.
Yep. So we did the analogy of she tells you she wants to have sex, then she lies. But guess what, bro? You showed up, you met her at the bar, and you acted like you were the alpha male, and you swept her off her feet, and then you get her married, and then you get her pregnant, and then you're like, I'm out. This is boring. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other thing, and then you wonder why she's crazy. You lied to her. You tricked her. Don't you understand that? When you become a lazy, fat slob of a human being and you become this little, have you ever heard death by 1,000 pinpricks? Every time you go, I'm going to eat better. You know what? I'm not going to drink this weekend. I'm going to go to the gym. And every time you don't, that's death by 1,000 pinpricks. So you're killing your marriage and you're destroying your wife. Every time you say, I'm gonna, and then your laziness kicks in and you don't do anything, right? I said to my wife, you know what? I'm going to get back to my 5:30 a.m. wake ups. I've been going to bed a little bit later than I wanted to just because of business. You know how it goes. Business is picked up for both of us. I've been burning the candle at both ends and it's caused some friction because I'm still doing my routine just an hour later. And I said to my wife, you know what? I'm going to get back to that early wake up. I don't really give a shit if I only get 5 hours of sleep. I'm just going to do it. This morning, the alarm went off and I drug my ass out of bed because I knew that my wife is laying there and she's going, is he going to do what he says he's going to do? And I made sure to not give her an opportunity to go, yeah, well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. So how am I going to trust you that you can take Maverick to the dentist tomorrow? She can't say that. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, I hope that as you're driving around, this is landing for you because you got to cut the shit with yourself first. Cut the shit with yourself first, man. You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody. And Jesse, how many times do you get guys in your DMs going, hey, I want to start my own social media the way that you do. Any tips? I'm like, well, okay. When's the last time you lied to your wife? Well, what do you mean? Well, when's the last time you said you were going to wake up early and you didn't? Oh, yesterday. Yeah, well, so stop doing that. How about you stop doing that first, then start telling everybody on Instagram your story? Because otherwise, you're just going to keep lying there too.
Yeah. When my wife looked me dead in the eyes and told me she would probably never trust me again, it was the years of accumulation of bullshit that I was feeding her. And some of them were so small, I didn't even realize I was even lying. And none of it came to fruition. So when she said that, she was just like, well, I'm just done. I'm just done. And I was like, well, fuck. I believe that she's never going to trust me again because I had used up all the trust passes, all the like, give me a 1800th chance chance.
Yeah.
I'd used them all up, and I didn't realize, because in my mind, it's not that big of a deal. Eventually, things may work out. And it was so fucking wrong, dude. It was like, I didn't realize how big of a hole I was digging, because I was taught culturally, it doesn't matter, from guys, from boys. We were like, what does it matter? Chill. She just needs to chill.
Yep. I'll tell you a quick story. Last week, we got a bill for one of our businesses, and it was astronomically high. Okay. And my wife asked me, she was like, hey, did you get that bill yet? And I was like, yeah, we're still talking about it. I got to refine some things because that was true. We got to clean some things up. And she's like, is there a reason why you're not telling me how much it was? And I'm like, and I had an opportunity to go, no, it's just that I'm working. And I just fucking said, yeah, yeah. She goes, is it because it's really high that you're not telling me? And I said, yeah. And she goes, okay, good. Don't stress me out. Just you handle it. Don't stress me out. The weight like came off my shoulders because I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I can handle that. But I was honest about it. Instead of going, no, they haven't sent me the bill yet, or whatever fucking bullshit answer I would have given her, which had she found out would have severed trust again. I was dead ass honest. No, you don't want to see that bill. I have some things to work out on it to correct some things. That's why I'm not telling you. And she goes, okay, good. Don't stress me out. Don't stress me out. Great, great. Honesty. I was honest. I looked her dead in the face and I said, the reason I'm not telling you is because I know how much it is and I'm not. And she was like, thank you for not stressing me out. Just handle it.
Yeah.
She was like, I personally don't give a shit, but I'm thankful that you didn't lie to me about it because I would have found out. So thank you and just handle it. So years of being honest about that kind of stuff gives her the comfort to say to me, just handle it then. I don't need to know. Just handle it. So I'm not all jammed up and worried and lying and off center every time somebody brings up this bill that we got for one of our businesses. Oh my God, I told her I didn't know. Of course I know. And the best thing to do is say, be honest about it, right? So years of that, of just telling the brutal honesty, being brutally honest, telling the truth, gives my wife the ability to go, good, thank you for being honest. Now just handle it. Make it go away. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Before, when I'd lie about it, it would cause me so much angst and so much stress. Then she'd find out about it. We think, guys, though, that when we tell the truth one time, that should rectify years of not telling the truth. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You got to put in years of being honest, even if it's going to cost you something, even if that means conflict, even though it's going to hurt you. That's what dying to yourself looks like in real time. This is going to suck. I got to tell her, you know, my truck broke down because I did this to it and I didn't want to tell her about it. Now I got to fix it. That might hurt you. You might get a lashing, but it's better to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Right?
I got a little honesty story about one of the roots of her distrust for me. Last year, we're driving, sunny, beautiful day, going into the community we live in, and I get a text from a number I don't know. Hey, Jesse, we'll just say Becky. Do you remember me when we went out to breakfast? Now, I could have easily just swiped to delete. And here's where the distrust was. When me and my wife were first dating, there were times where I would text girls. I still kept in touch with girls. There was times me and my wife would break up. So I just immediately handed her the phone. Hey, look at this text. And she was like, when did you guys go to breakfast? And this was during our dating phase. And I go, do you remember so-and-so and his girlfriend? They worked together. And so we all went to breakfast together. And I was like, you can ask me an unlimited amount of questions, whatever you want. And I could have deleted it and she would have maybe never known. But in that moment, it was like the Holy Spirit was like, dude, just give it to her. Tell her. And then the other thing was, she won't find out. Hey, wrong number maybe, or don't know who that is. Play dumb. And I just handed it to her. It was like, hey, look at this text I got. And it went so well. One, there was nothing to hide. Two, it could have gone so fucking bad. Years ago, I told her, I want you, because she was, I mean a long time ago, she was like, well, how do I know you just don't delete stuff? And I'm like, well, I have an Apple product. You can search every fucking text message I've ever had because I have all Apple signed into. I'm like, anytime you want, you can go through any of my stuff. You can search anything on my laptop and it'll bring up every text message, even if I delete it from my phone. And I told her that. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yes, that's actually true. So she's always had that unlimited access, freedom, whatever you want. I've never worried about giving her my phone for anything. But I had an opportunity to just ignore that, and I just gave her the phone. Ask me as many questions as you want. I don't care. I'll tell you everything, right? And she did, and it was great. And I think that right there just is like trust meter, boop, 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 boop,
Yep.
right?
Honest
Boop, boop, boop,
men
boop.
don't have anything to worry about.
No.
Like dishonest men are frantically if you're a guy that puts his phone face down, then look, you're a piece of shit. Okay? Like, and I mean that jokingly, but you got to understand that that's a coward thing to do. That's if you're married, I mean, look, if you're dating, whatever. Okay? That's between you and your girlfriend. Figure that out. But if you're married and you're a phone goes face down kind of guy, or you're a, I got to delete a bunch of stuff before I hand my phone over to my wife kind of guy, just cut the bullshit. Okay? Stop thinking that you're owed any kind of respect, because that's the grimiest thing in the world. If you can't leave your phone in the other room, I leave my phone open in the kitchen when I go into the room to take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
My wife can look at whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And why wouldn't that be the case?
Yeah. And in that moment, I was like, is the enemy trying to like make us get in an argument because things have been going so good? Like, why would this person, because our kids were like 8, maybe my oldest was 7, maybe, but he was 8. And I'm like, I haven't seen this person like 12 years, 10 years before we ever even got near having kids. So why would they randomly text me? Like, whoa. And I'm like, he's trying to like be like, shit's too good for you. This secular person, I'm going to get this secular person to
100%.
reach out to you.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why we're not at war with flesh and blood, but with principalities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a good one. Oh man, this is crazy that I'm even going to admit this, but I've had, since some of my content has gone viral, I've had porn stars that I used to watch DM me. And I'm like, oh, fucking delete that as fast as I can. Like, are you crazy? I'm not even going to let the enemy infiltrate my ecosystem. I'm not even, you don't get access to me. Okay. 10 years ago, I'd have been, now, are you joking me? Dude, you're not that. Look, men give access. We got to stop believing that we don't. Like that shit just like falls in your lap and like you don't have any control. You have all the control in the world. You have all the control in the world. You know what I've done now? When pretty girls will comment on my stuff, I take the profile and I send it to my wife. And I go, hey, you should talk to her about the business. She just liked my picture. And that has given my wife a sense of like peace, because she knows that if anybody comes on my page, she's going to see it. Hey, you deal with this. She just like, now my wife's like, well, of course they're going to like your stuff. You're talking about marriage and stuff like that. So she has no, like the threat meter is 0. And I'm like, hey, you should talk to her. My wife's in network marketing. Okay. She works with pretty girls all the time. So I'm like, hey, here's a girl. She just liked this post of you and I, you should talk to her. It comes from a place of, I am not going to give people access to me where it could look like something that it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how much control we have. And I want to stay in, because it's not worth it to me. And I'm trying to build a foundation of, honey, there's nothing going to go on in my life that you don't know about.
Have you ever had women reach out to you about coaching them?
Honestly, no, I've not had any.
Because I've had women ask me to coach them. And to me, it's a hard no.
Hard no.
Because I'm like, that's how emotional affairs happen. I'm locked into my marriage. So, and then for my one-on-one, I used to do a thing where I would give the wife a call. Hey, tell me all the shit, what's going on, your perspective or perception. Most people don't know what perspective is. Cool. If they ever wanted a second call, it would be with my wife, not me. Mm-hmm. That was my hard rule. You can talk to my wife so that you guys can connect on regulating yourself, femininity, etc. I don't need you confining it to me. I think it's crazy when men hire women coaches, women hire men coaches, regardless of what the topic is. It's just like, no, there needs to be a level of trust that's so transparent. There's never an accident, even if it's not your intention, but it was an accident on their part, because you're playing a part in that.
100%.
So like, no,
I mean, that's how, like you said, that's how emotional affairs start. And honestly, like we're in 2026 here. Do guys still have girlfriends? Like, I don't have any girlfriends. I have girls that are acquaintances because my wife is best friends with them. But like, that's not going to work out if you're still doing that. If you're still playing that game, that's not going to work out. And the whole point of this entire episode is for guys to just stop lying to themselves first.
Yeah.
That's where the trouble starts occurring, because you get some girl to DM you, or you don't get her to, she just DMs you. And if you don't put that fire out immediately, then the devil's going to start telling you all kinds of lies. Well, just look at her profile. Your wife's not going to know. Just send her a message. Your wife's not going to know. 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 And then you believe it. And then next thing you know, you're cooked. So the first step for men in like solving this problem is to stop lying to yourself about the severity of your own bullshit. I think that's where we should start, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Every little thing that you say you're going to do and you don't do, or every little thing you say you're not going to do anymore and you continue to do, you're lying to yourself before you even start to think about lying to your wife. You're lying to yourself.
If you can't keep your word to yourself, how do you expect to do it to your wife, your kids, your brothers, your workplace, etc.? The math doesn't math.
Yep. I used to lie about watching pornography to my wife. Now, because I haven't watched it in almost 5 years now, she knows the extent to which I did. So when those people would ping my inbox, I would tell her, I'd be like, dude, this is ridiculous, but look at how nasty this is. But if I don't confront it myself, and if I don't stop lying to myself about the severity of what it is that I'm doing or was doing, then I'm going to lie about how am I trying to articulate this? I'm going to lie about the severity of somebody just entering my DMs. Like, that's not a big deal. That is a big deal. It's gross.
You might omit. Omit is just another lying. It's just lying.
Not telling the entire truth.
Yeah.
And most men, I think we talked about this. You remember the Seinfeld? Did you ever watch Seinfeld, by the way?
Yeah, great show.
Okay. One of my favorites. One of my favorite shows. When George tells Jerry that he wants to be an architect, and Jerry's like, but you're not an architect. He's like, Jerry, if you believe it, it's not a lie.
Yeah.
And that is how I lived my life for a long time. If I believe it enough in my heart that, yeah, I did this, or no, I'm not, or what, or no, it's not that big of a deal. If I believe it, then it's not a lie. And guys, that's actually not how it works.
Yeah, total baloney. I was the king of omittance. I would omit so much to my wife, and again, it just ruined the trust. When I tell you that I like ruined all her trust with all the things, I hit all of them is the thing. The only one I didn't do is ever actually physically cheat on her, but I cheated on her by lying in all the other areas, omitting things, omitting parts of stories, omitting parts of questions she would ask me, and then she would find out. And it was just one day, it's like, well, I guess if I just tell her the truth, she'll either get just as mad if lying, but then I'm telling the truth. And so what's the risk of that? Sounds almost better. Well, at least I told the truth.
Honestly, speaking of honesty and lying, honestly, that is, look, we talk about this all the time. It costs you something either way. To get in shape, it costs you something. To not be in shape, it costs you something. It's going to cost either way. Wouldn't you want to just pay the price to be in shape so you're healthier? Telling your wife the truth about some dumbass stuff that you did is going to cost you. And there should be a consequence. You made the choice to do the thing. So it's going to cost you. But if you lie about it, well, I think that price just went up a little bit. And guys don't think in terms of that.
Yeah. I got my blood work done June 6th, and I got to start adding in some cardio to just adjust some blood markers. And I told my wife I'm going to start running, and I did. Ran on the treadmill a couple times, and then one day she was like, "Are you going to run today?" Because it was getting later in the day, and it was like, "Yeah," and I fucking did. I did not want to, but she was wondering if I was still committed. I could have made an excuse. Oh, it's not part of the routine. I could have probably easily pulled out that card, but then I have ran the next day or the next day? And I was like, yeah. So I ended up running, sore as fuck. Holy shit, getting back into running sucks.
Yes.
But the point of the story is I had an opportunity to make up a reason not to. Oh, it's not part of my routine today. You know, my fitness program through Claude with my lifting and my running, it's like, you know, rest day. I had an opportunity to do all those, but none of them are true.
See, but the thing is, Jesse, what you pointed out, the initial lie stopped with you lying to yourself. See, you can't stop lying to your wife if you don't stop lying to yourself first, right? So it started with that ping when your wife said something to you. And instead of you saying to yourself, hey, dude, she'll never know. Just say that it's not on your routine today and just make it up tomorrow. That's lying to yourself. You
Mhm.
cut that out. Then you were able to go, oh, I'm supposed to run today. You're right. And I'm going actually right now. And you went and put your shoes on and ran. Being who you say you are is a really valuable tool in taking extreme ownership of your marriage and your life.
And that run that I did Saturday night, bro, I was cooking. I felt good. And I almost skipped that whole thing. I'm still sore. I am so sore today. And today was leg day. My calves and ankles are so sore. And I'm like, I'm so glad I ran. Right.
And that gets better and better. Just like telling the truth to your wife gets easier and easier the more you
Mhm.
do it. You
Mhm.
realize that your wife really does love you and she really does have a soft spot for you. And if you're honest with her, she can work with that. If you're dishonest with her, there's nothing she can do about it but hate your guts. And it doesn't fix itself by telling her the truth one time. It fixes itself by you just turning into a guy that's just going to tell the truth. I'm just going to tell the truth about
Yeah.
the situation.
And
You know,
before we close out, I think we should touch on all the different styles of lying, right? Because we said omit. Another one is deflection.
yes,
Why are you
men are great at
deflecting?
that.
Yeah. Why are you deflecting in this moment? And you think she doesn't notice you're deflecting? Because it's like she knows her alarm bells are like, woo, woo, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Well, women are great deflectors, so they know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Women, chill. I was just joking. But yeah, they know. Man, the thing I had to realize, and you said at the very beginning, is that my wife is way smarter than I am. She's
Mhm.
just way smarter than me. I'm way stronger than her, right? Like I can bench press her weight 50 times without racking the bar. But she is way smarter than me. As strong as much as I am stronger than her, she's smarter than me. Okay.
Mhm.
So when we go to make decisions like a new house that we're building, and I go, we can spend $2 million. And she's like, no, we can't. I go, okay, I trust you.
Yeah.
You're probably right about that because she's smarter than me. She's better at money and she's a better mom. She's a better parent. She's kinder and has more patience. Like there are qualities in our women that we have to understand they're better than us. Just like when we laugh as men and go, women can't play basketball with us. Like
Yeah.
even if you're not good at basketball and a woman tries to play basketball with you, you just crap all over her. Men are more athletic in most
Mhm.
cases. So the way that we describe that and we laugh about that, we have to also understand the flip side of that is, well, they're smarter than us. They're better with money most of the time. They're better at organizing. They're better at detail. They pay attention to detail. And because they pay attention to detail, when you start fumbling all over yourself and deflecting the situation, her, she's like, it smells like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
And the dumbest thing that we can do is go, what? No, it's not. Just like we would laugh and when we hear far left liberal people go, women can compete with men in football. Give them a chance. We're like, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. That's what your wife is saying to you. Just shut up. Stop deflecting. It's not my problem. I didn't buy the gun. You bought the gun. We're talking about you. We're not talking about what I said. We're talking about what you said.
Exactly.
So deflection is a mega part of lying. And men, you got to cut the umbilical cord on deflecting. How about take ownership? Oh my God, you're right. I said I wasn't going to buy another gun and I did. That was stupid. What should I do, honey? Should I return this? What's the restitution? I want to make it right. Pay restitution,
Yeah.
return it. You know, whatever you got to do, figure it out. Figure it out, man. Like 100 years ago, 150 years ago, dudes were fending off like wild packs of Indians from their families. Like figure it the fuck out, man.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like how far have we fallen from just like taking any ownership? Like again, 150 years ago, people would just roll up on your property with guns and want to take your shit. And you and your 10-year-old son had to figure it out. And they did. They did.
Mhm.
They fended off packs of wolves. Like now you're telling me that you can't figure out, like if you've messed something up, like you can't figure out how to like fix it. Jeez, man, just figure it out. How about be a man, figure it out, fall on your face if you have to.
Yeah. And just so guys know, deflecting, omitting, those are feminine communication traits. So if you're enacting those, again, and this isn't anything against the women, but that's not a masculine way to communicate. Just
100%.
straight up.
If a dude says to you, "Do you have a problem with me?" and you have a problem with him, and you can't just say, "Yeah, I do. I have a problem with this thing that you do, and it just bothers me, and because of that, I don't really like you or get along with you, and that's totally fine.
Or if you can't just say, yeah, I don't like your face.
I just don't
How
like you,
plain
bro."
and simple is that
Right?
versus
Because,
deflecting?
well, you or no, or like this. No, dude, I don't have a problem with you. And then you get on the group chat and talk shit about that guy. Like that's a feminine way to handle business. And
Mhm.
again, you're right. That's not a knock on women. That's not how men should be acting. And if you handle business that way with your boys, then you would handle the business that way with your wife, and she would really respect you. She would really respect you, man. And that's the big that's the big ticket item. Men want to be respected, women want to be loved. You know how you show your wife you love her? Be honest with her. You know how you get your wife to respect you? Be honest with her. It's really that simple, man. And the lie that you got to stop telling yourself is it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Well, like my wife said to me, every time you lie to me about buying a pair of shoes, it makes me feel like you're cheating on me. And the day that I stopped butting that and understanding the damage that I was doing to her, I started realizing that buying shoes isn't even worth it to me anymore. It's not
Mhm.
worth it. You know what I do now, Jesse? You know what I do now? I take my phone like a little kid sometimes and I go into my wife's office and I'm like, "Hey, honey, hey, these just came out." Because I'm a shoe collector, for those of you that don't know. And I go, "Hey, these just came out. I want to buy it." She'll peek behind the computer. "How much are they?" "They're $500." And she's like, "Okay, go ahead." Imagine that. Imagine that. I just asked. She was like, "Yeah, cool, go for it." Or she goes, "Honey, not right now. You just bought a pair last week. Do you really need another?" And I go, "No, you're right." That's where the she's smarter than me comes into play. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That's totally an impulse thing. I don't even need that. I personally, Jesse, don't need any more firearms. Okay. I can outfit a small militia. Okay. So when I show my wife guns and I go, "Hey, what?" And she goes, "You have like 4 of those." I go, "Yeah, you're right." She goes, "Do we need another one of those? Do we even have enough kids to grab them if shit kicks off? No. Do you want to have more children? Not necessarily. Then we don't need any more guns." That's the conversation.